Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me. Today, it's not a snark video, and although it is Snarkmas, I'm still doing a daily video, but something kind of popped up. A bunch of people messaged me this same video and some screenshots of something from Jenny Popach. And if you know anything, you can go back to my videos and look at this story. It's a heartbreaking tale of a very, very young, I think 14-year-old girl who is being completely groomed by her mom, is living in a relationship with her mom and dad that is very dangerous. Some things have come to light. I've got some people that I've been talking to in the back end. I've called the FBI myself and made reports. It is actually one of the scariest things I've ever seen, and it's come to a head recently. Today we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to do an open letter to Jenny Popach at the end of this video because I know that she watches my videos, and I'll show you today. I'll have a little bit of proof of that. And so this is a really, really important video. I need you guys to stick around for it. I need you to watch it. But before, I said I was going to spin every day, so I'm not going to dance or anything. We're just going to maybe I'll do a little chair jig or whatever because it's a very serious video today, and I want to make sure we're kind of setting the mood for that. But we got to dance a little. Yeah, baby. All right. Hilter. If you change two of those letters, that's a very weird, inappropriate name. Anyway, I don't know who that is, but reach out to me at josh@thedadchallengepodcast.com with your shirt size and your address, and I will hook you up. Congratulations. Anyway, let's get to this very, very important video. And so before we get started, everybody, I also want to say that a lot of people have been asking me to do a video directed at their teenagers. And this is going to be that video. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, and it's going to be really important. So anybody kind of above 12, I think will watch this. Obviously, I'm not going to swear. I'll try my best. But I want you to watch it first and see if it's appropriate for your child, because this is going to be that video that your child needs to watch. Okay, about the dangers of the internet, their privacy being shared without their consent, and everything else. And if you know somebody whose parents share their lives with the internet, try to find a way for them to watch this. This is also going to go out to all the family vlogger children out there who don't want to be in videos, who are forced to be in videos. So this is a really important benchmark on this channel and a really important video. So before we get started in the Jenny Popach story, this other TikTok thing came out around where this guy pretended to be a young boy and catfish some teenagers with their parents' consent to show you how easy it is for these girls to be stalked, to be hurt, kidnapped, killed, or otherwise. It's very, very scary. And at the end of this, I'm going to do an open letter to Jenny Popach, which is basically an open letter to any kid who's on the internet, okay? So let's start. A lot of you are young, and your parents are getting you to watch this video, and I appreciate it. My name's Josh, and I'm a dad. I have 4 children ranging from the ages of 21 all the way down to 8. I've been a dad for a lot of years. And one of my main focuses on this channel is to call out child exploiters on the internet specifically. And what that looks like is maybe videos that you watch like Ace Family, LeBrant Family, maybe you watch videos on YouTube of families filming their content. Now, it might look innocent, and to some degree, it sort of is. But what you don't see is the behind the scenes reality of these children's lives. Okay, so what you might see as fun, kids eating candy or doing shopping hauls or, doing challenges like who can stay in the pool the longest and all that kind of stuff. Behind that is a whole slew of people making a ton of money. Now, these kids are not actors in the traditional sense of acting. They don't have protections like child actors do in Hollywood, which is the Coogan Law, which still isn't that good. Coogan Law only guarantees 5% of the child's income is in their account, which is crazy. But the difference between child actors and kids who are on the internet is that child actors are portraying somebody. You don't actually get to see their day-to-day lives. You don't actually know who they really are because they're acting. Family vloggers are sort of similar. They're acting, but they're actually showing their day-to-day lives. They're showing how real and raw their lives are, and they're giving you lots of information about the children, often about how many times they've been to the hospital, maybe what they've been sick with. They have allergies? Have they started their period? Okay, gone through puberty? Have they gone on dates? Have they gotten hurt somehow? Right? Some of them have terminal illnesses. All of these parents are sharing a lot of their children's stories, which is your story, without their consent. And the way that I'm talking about consent is really important. So consent, let's take for example, you've got a friend who says, "Can I give you a hug?" And you just don't feel like having a hug, and you say, "Not today." That's you giving consent. Hey, if you're dating someone and hey, do you consent to kissing? Right? That's consent. If you go to the doctor and the doctor is going to perform a surgery, there's a thing called informed consent. Okay? What I try to show you on this channel is a thing called informed consent of minors on social media, which is really, really important because in my opinion, and in the opinion of very, very well-respected psychologists and doctors all over the world, specifically one I've spoken to, children cannot give what's called informed consent to being put on the internet. Okay, which means that even though you might think it's cool now, you actually don't understand how it's going to turn out when you're older. Okay, so let's say you've been on the internet since you were 10 years old. And up to the point you become 18 or 20 years old, you've been on the internet for 10 years. That means there is literally 10 years of content on the internet, some of which could be very extremely embarrassing for you. Like in some cases, I've seen family vloggers talk about when their daughters get their period for the first time. Now, if you're a girl watching this video, would you appreciate your parents telling the entire world, sometimes to millions of subscribers, when you got your period for the first time? Right? Imagine your mom goes to your school, gets up in front of the whole entire cafeteria and says, "She just started her period today, everybody." How would that make you feel? Well, take that cafeteria scene with, let's say, 1,000 kids and put it in front of 10 million eyes. That's the problem here. So informed consent means that in 10 years, you actually don't know the ramifications of what you're saying online or the privacy concerns that might affect you at a later time. Neither do the parents, to be honest with you. But it's legal. And so your parents can make that consent for you. My argument on this channel is that they shouldn't be able to. And you have more power than you know. Most of you are watching this, your parents are asking you to watch this, and I appreciate it. And a lot of you are not on the internet, and your parents aren't filming your private moments and stuff like that, but you ingest the content because you think it's innocent. But I hope at the end of this video, you can be challenged to know that that's actually not cool because with your view, watching that video, it turns into money for that family, which then gives them incentive to make more videos because they make more money. Did you know that family vlogger on YouTube with, let's take the LeBrants for example, at their peak, we're making about 5 to 6 to 7 million views per video. At its peak, the LeBrant family was likely making over $1 million a month on YouTube. Let's just take an example of a family that I cover right now called the Doherty Dozen. Is a large family of adopted kids, and she pulls in close to $300,000 to $400,000 a month in YouTube ad revenue. These people make a lot of money, but they also spend a ton of time making this content, which then translates to not having a really good childhood. Imagine your whole life, every vacation you ever take, every Christmas present you open, every time something happens, your mom or your dad has a camera on you at all times and everything is being filmed and there's no one-on-one connection. How does that make you feel? Okay? And so that's what we're talking about here on this channel. Kids can't give informed consent to being on these channels, and now we're seeing a whole bunch of kids come forward talking about, sometimes anonymously, how they are part of these channels and they're scared. They don't want to be there anymore. They hate these lives that they've been forced to be in. They don't like that they don't have consent. They ask their parents, they don't want to do it, but the parents coerce them or worse, threaten them to be on these channels. And when you watch that stuff, you actually enable it. Now, it's not your fault. I just want you to think before you watch. Does that make sense? Okay, that's one part of what I do. The next part here is just regular old teenagers who are on the internet, just being teenagers on the internet. Now, I know you might be like, well, this is how I grew up and it's kind of normal for me, but I want you to understand the dangers of that. And I want you to realize that there are people on the internet, a lot of people, and we're talking millions and millions of people who I call predators, who are actually seeking out content with kids. And it might not even be the famous kids. It might just be you on TikTok doing a dance that might seem innocent. But there are thousands of predatory eyes on that content. So no matter what you think, when you put a video out there, it is on the internet forever. And if not, it is downloaded by these guys and put into these forums where they share it all in a creepy way. And it's there forever. There are adults right now who are family vloggers who said a ton of racist comments when they were in their teens and are now being canceled for it because they didn't understand what a digital footprint was. And that's basically what's happening right now. Family vlogging is relatively new, and the digital footprint we have no idea about until it could be another 10 years till we actually see the biggest ramifications of it all. And so your digital footprint, if you're not a family vlogger or famous on the internet, you still have a digital footprint. Okay, so everything you put on the internet at some point is being logged somewhere. And so it's really important, if your parents aren't teaching you internet safety, that you learn it from somewhere. okay? You've got to learn what internet safety means, what putting on the internet does, and where it goes, and what it could potentially mean for your future. All I need you to know is to be really careful with what you put on the internet. Think of this for a second before you post anything. When I'm 20 or an adult with my own children and I look back on this, am I going to be embarrassed? Do you remember making little videos when you were young or doing something really embarrassing when you're young? You look back on it and you're like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. Well, that's basically something that might happen depending what type of content you're putting out on your platform today. And I know it's really hard for you because we don't see the ramifications of it yet, but think to this self, when I am old enough to get a job interview or go to college or meet somebody, that I might marry or whatever, what is on the internet about me? And that's really important. Your parents should be teaching you about the dangers of the internet. And in my opinion, I honestly believe that kids shouldn't be on the internet, not posting content anyway. And I know I'm such an old man for saying it. You're like, I know you're saying, Josh, you're such a loser. You're such a loser, man. Cap or no cap or fresh, whatever you're saying, okay? Just kidding. But that's what I'm saying. I honestly believe that you should wait until you're a little bit older, maybe 15, 16, to start putting out content and ask your parents what's safe, or ask a trusted person in your life, teacher, I don't know, counselor, somebody, what you think is appropriate content, because the world is changing really fast and content is spreading at the speed of like billions of videos a year. Billions. The content is scary. Another thing is too, those predators that are watching those videos are not just watching them and sharing them amongst their predator friends. Some of them are actually trying to get at you. And that is one of the scariest things about the internet and having social media where your parents aren't monitoring it. And I want to say this right now, and it might be a little bit, it might be a little sus to you, but I need you to hear this. If your parents are checking your social media and your phone and making sure everything's ticky-boo and safe and all that kind of stuff, I want you to know that's because they love you. Right? They want to protect you. As parents, it's our job to protect our children. And in today's world, that's a little bit different than when we grew up. We didn't have the internet like you did. We have phones in our pockets and computers and iPads and cameras everywhere. Okay? We stayed out, dumpster dived till the lights came on, then we went home. That was the way it was. Today's world is a lot more dangerous. Okay? You've got a lot more eyes, and a lot of these predators are finding really, really unique ways to get at you. And I know it sounds like I'm trying to scare you, because I am. It is scary. They'll find ways to talk to you on Roblox, on Minecraft, on any game that has a chat platform. Do me a favor. Don't talk to strangers at all on any social media platform. And if you do encounter yourself talking to somebody, tell your parents right away. That could mean the difference between life and death, and I'm not kidding you. Okay, I know that's a little bit scary. Not trying to scare you too much, but sort of a little of them, okay? So this video popped up really recently about a guy who made an account of a young man and catfished. If you don't know what catfishing is, it's a person that says they are something or doing something or like something, but they're lying to get close to you. Okay, I've been catfished on my channel twice, and it's actually quite scary. I had a catfisher who claimed that they died. Okay, they died, and I cried on my channel. It was crazy, and it ended up not being true. That can be really hurtful to a lot of people. But there could be catfishing, like there's a story from the Crazy Pieces where one of their oldest adopted kids was catfished by a girl, tricked him. That's all it was. Now, catfishing can range from anything from trying to get money from you to getting photos from you that should not be being sent from you, from trying to blackmail you into doing something you shouldn't be doing, or in this video's case, trying to get you to meet them. So let's watch this together, okay? And on my video, I do pause a lot to talk to you about it, so buckle up.
I made a fake profile on Facebook posing as a 15-year-old boy. With the parents' permission, I friend requested 3 girls ages 14, 13, and 12 years old. I've been talking to these girls for the last 3 or 4 days, and today we're supposed to meet up.
Okay, it's important that you know that he had the parents' permission. I'm glad he had the parents' permission, okay? And it's really, really important that we watch this together, but that is one of the scariest things you can ever see because it exists, and I'm not even kidding you, in the millions of social media accounts. There's been news broadcasts and people who have done investigative journalism where they make an account and within 15 to 20 seconds, they are being approached by men in their DMs. Okay? It's a really dangerous world.
What we found in this video is shocking and something everyone should see. Be sure to watch until the end and use what we've learned in this video to better educate your friends and family. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This first girl, her name is Michaela. She's 13 years old. We've been talking on Facebook for the last couple of days, and we're supposed to meet up at the park later when her parents leave the house.
Okay. So if you didn't see the chat, he's just basically getting in her DMs and saying where you're from and where you're from and everything else. And it's really easy, depending on what kind of digital footprint you have, for somebody to find out who you are. Now, let's go back to the family vloggers for a second. Did you know that some of these family vloggers, you know their age, their birthday, their middle names. You know every detail about their medical histories. You know their nicknames. You know where they live. You know where they go to school. You know where they vacation. And you know what their parents' vehicles look like. You know everything about them because the parents overshare it on the internet. Okay? That is one of the scariest. So imagine someone approaches you and, oh yeah, I know you from school. And then they can tell you all about yourself. Would you not trust that person more easily? Right. So, but in your case, if you're not someone who has a ton of, so that's why it's really, really important for you to reevaluate what you're putting online. How much information about you is online? And you need to take stock of that because that's going to be important for your future. Your digital footprint is going to be everything when you get older. And even as a guy who grew up on the internet from the age of 14, my digital footprint is massive, massive. So it's really important to find out who you are on the internet and what people can know about you. Okay, let's continue.
Just waiting right now to get the text that our parents have left the house. So I just got a text. My parents just left. I can be at the park in 10 minutes. We're gonna go see if she comes in 10 minutes. We're gonna go right now, set up all the cameras, and just be waiting there for her.
This is so scary, everybody. And yes, I'm trying to scare you. And I want you to know to never, ever talk to strangers or ever, ever meet a stranger from the internet that you've never met. Please, please, because there are horror stories of things that have happened.
So she said she's gonna meet me at the park playground. So this is the closest to her house, she said. So right now I'm texting her that I just got here. All right, we'll just wait, see what she says. She said, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
There she goes to the park. This girl is 12. That is so scary. And it doesn't even matter that's a public place, okay? It doesn't matter. This is the most dangerous thing you could do in today's day and age as a child.
Oh, she's coming, yeah. Michaela? From Facebook.
So she approached this guy.
You remember?
Michaela, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Sorry.
Okay. Now that should scare you. What the dad did there was out of fear. And I'm going to take a little step back and say that's probably an inappropriate response. It's appropriate, but inappropriate. Does that make sense? If that happened to me, I'd absolutely be very, very, very upset with my daughter. Okay? But I wouldn't scream at her in public like that. This is a moment, a teachable moment. And this more is for parents than the kids. This is a teachable moment here. Michaela, what just happened here could have killed you. You could have been kidnapped by this person. You could have been killed. You could have been something. You could have literally, this could have ruined your entire life and or killed you. Okay? So yeah, the dad overreacted a little bit, I think, but appropriately overreacted. Does that make sense? Like he shouldn't have yelled in public like that. But at the same time, I understand why he did it.
You could have been a rapist. You could have been a pedophile. Why would you do this?
Sorry.
Yeah, you know that. I could have been anyone. Like you talked to me for the last 4 days. You've been talking to me on Facebook. Do you know that? Like, you shouldn't talk to strangers, especially online. Like,
but I'm going to also, this is more directed towards the parents as well. This is kind of on you guys as well. Here's a couple of questions for you to answer. And if you answer some of these with a yes, you might need to reevaluate how you parent your children, unfortunately. Does your kid have a mobile phone that has access to the internet unfettered? Yeah? Reassess. Is your kid able to private message people without you seeing it? Reassess. Is your kid left at home alone where they can be doing this? Reassess. Okay? No child and I know you kids watching this are going to be upset with me for saying this. You don't need a smartphone. I promise you when you're older, you'll thank us parents who do that. But if you have unfettered access to a mobile phone with a computer and like internet and social media on it at an age of 12, I'm sorry, but your parents are doing it wrong. Okay? Now, there are protections you could put in a phone where your parents are looking at it and they are monitoring it and you're tracking and everything else. Maybe. But 12, a little young. Just don't grow up so fast is maybe the answer here. Parents, don't let your kids have unfettered access to the internet or smartphones at all, unless you're monitoring it on the daily.
I wasn't even do I look the same as my picture? It could be even worse than that.
You realize how scary this could have been? Man, we have to talk.
Yeah,
This next-
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Girl, her name is Juliana. She's 12 years old, and we're supposed to meet up tonight
It would have to be when my dad's not home.
when her father falls asleep. So right now I'm here with John, who's Juliana's father. We're gonna see if she's actually gonna come to the door or not. She said, this was the last text, LOL, I would have to wait till my dad falls asleep if you want to chill, because I can't have boys over. So she wants to chill tonight, supposedly. What do you think about
I
that?
don't think she's gonna open the door. God, I hope she doesn't open that door.
What's your address?
I pray she does not respond to this.
Well, I can't say the address, but she just literally just texted the address. Start driving to the address, close by. My dad's going to drop me off. Alright, so she just said, I think my dad fell asleep, you can come now. One with the light right here?
Yes.
This is crazy. This should scare the poop out of you.
Come outside, come to the front door. Hey, ready? So chill.
His dad is...
Get over here. Get over here. What's wrong with you?
Oh my gosh, maybe this was the younger one.
What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
How can you do this? You're 12 years old. This guy's 20 years old. You could have been raped and murdered. We already lost your mother. What would I do if anything happened to you? What would I do if anything happened to you? I love you. Don't you ever do this again.
And unfortunately for her, like, this is a hard lesson that she'll probably, unfortunately and fortunately, she'll never do this again. But what a lot of kids don't get is a second chance. Okay, that's meant to scare you. Okay, a lot of kids don't get that second chance because the person that's doing that is the predator, is a real predator on the other side of that text message. And so you do need to watch this and be exposed to this so you understand the dangers of it, because this happens every single day. Every single day. Kids are being targeted online, not just famous kids, just regular kids. I know that's a scary thing, and it should scare you. And so parents out there who are allowing kids to watch this video, I appreciate it. And it's almost like you can't even blame the kids, because two-pronged for parents, because it's not really the kids' fault, okay? Because kids aren't prepared for this. They're easy to take advantage of. Kids are easy to convince, and that's why predators are who they are, and that's why they target children, okay? But it's two-pronged. First, don't let your kid on the internet without you monitoring it at every level. And two, teach your kids about internet safety. This kid was clearly not taught that, and his dad is very upset. And he has a right to be upset, but also, hopefully he looks inwards and sees that he's failed his daughter too. Because this is your parents' fault too, if this ever happens. Because you need to be taught about internet safety, your digital footprint, and the fact that predators are literally watching everything online. And they are looking for kids with low digital footprints too. Okay, it is a really scary world. That being said, I want to move on to the Jenny Popach side of the story. Okay, it's a very, very important story because Jenny Popach, she's a 14-year-old girl who's an influencer. She has 7.4 million followers on TikTok. She dresses very inappropriately, and I'm saying very inappropriately. Okay, she does dances that are very inappropriate as well, and her mom is the one forcing her to do these things most of the time. And it is a big, big story. And so Jenny Popach is like this other girl named Ava Madgery. Now, Ava Madgery is, I think, a 15 or 16-year-old TikTok star similar to Jenny Popach, very much dresses like an adult and dances like an adult on the internet, and has many, many men commenting on her stuff, as well as young teenagers and teenage girls as well. But a very big, very large chunk of the audience are men. Okay, there is no reason for an adult man ever to be watching content with young teenage girls. No reason whatsoever, okay? In her story, one of her peers who has a parasocial relationship with her, and if you don't know what that is, it's a one-sided relationship. So a lot of these people are like, if you're watching this video and you love Taylor Swift, okay? She's a great songwriter, amazing singer, she's great, lovely, blah, blah, blah. right? And you know everything about Taylor Swift. You know where she's been, all her songs, you know, like her cat's names, where she, you know, all that stuff. You know everything about her. Now that's a one-sided relationship. Okay, it's a parasocial relationship because only you know her, she doesn't know you at all. And that's also the danger of famous kids on the internet. They have so many fans, and not just predators, but just normal people who have parasocial relationships with children who aren't their own. Now that should creep you out. In this case, Ava Madgery had a parasocial relationship with another young man about 19 years old who came to her house with a shotgun and blew off her front door with a shotgun. He then went to cock the gun and to go in to kill the rest of the family, and his gun jammed. He ran away. What he didn't know is Ava Madgery's dad was an ex-police officer who had a gun. When that guy came back, and he did, the dad shot him and killed him. But if that guy's gun had not have jammed, what would have happened? She got saved by sheer luck. Now that is a story that is crazy because the dad and the mom still allow Ava Madgery to be on the internet to this day. They didn't seem to think that was a big deal. That a parasocial relationship that was created because of her fame led to her almost being killed by somebody. That is the danger of parasocial relationships. So if you are a kid in a family vlog, you need to understand what a parasocial relationship is and make sure that you are very, very, very protected because those people know everything about you. If someone approaches you in the street and says, "Oh, hey, friend, I know all about you. Your mom said to come pick you up. Yeah, I know that you had this for breakfast. I know that you got these brand new shoes last week. Oh, cool. I saw that you went to Disney 2 weeks ago." Imagine that, okay? Some of these kids aren't going to realize that that person's actually a predator. So, Jenny Popach comes on and does this video.
All up in my grill, your f***ing dog is a...
I'm going to blank out the swear words, but she says, "Your effing dog is a C. You next Tuesday." And this girl's 14, everybody.
Why are you treating me like that? Why can't I just hang out in your room?
Now, this mother is clearly either inebriated or high or something because she's not all there. I've spoken to this mother many times, okay? And I've actually made an FBI report because I happen to know that this girl has a tape on the internet with an adult man that she made with that her mom dropped her off to make. That is really, really scary. There's another influencer named Danielle Cohn, same situation, who had to get on the internet at the age of 13 and tell the entire world about her terminated pregnancy because her mom had to get out ahead of the story. And that girl was 13 when she got pregnant and her boyfriend was an adult. Okay, these people are always targeted by gross, disgusting adults. Jenny Popach is not even her real name, was a victim of this, and her mom enables it.
Why can't I hang out in your room?
And this kid clearly doesn't want to be on camera. And this is not consensual. You can tell right here that Jenny doesn't want to be on camera. And her mom is violating her consent right now.
Why do you blame me for everything bad that happens in your life? Huh?
I don't know if you saw that, but Jenny Popach is watching my video.
Huh?
She's on my channel watching my video, and that's why today's video is going to be directed towards her. Now that I know for a fact that Jenny Popach watches my video, I'm going to do an open letter in a second here.
Are you cleaning your room tomorrow? Excuse me, are you going to clean your room tomorrow?
This should break
Hello?
Anyway. That is really scary. So I wanted to show you Jenny Popach. I'm not going to go into any of her videos. I don't want to show you. It's just not appropriate to show you that, okay? It's just not. Now, my main show, which is mostly for adults, I will show this stuff. I'll blank a lot of it, but it's more adult content because she creates adult content. She's a 14-year-old girl creating adult content. And a lot of really, really gross, disgusting men and women are leaving comments they shouldn't, and her mom loves it, and it's really gross. Okay? So, all that kind of culminates right now into this story about, like, who are you on the internet? And I want you to remember this conversation. If you take anything away from this video, who are you on the internet? What is in your digital footprint? And if you don't know, you're going to need to find out. And you're going to need your parents to help you with that. If you're watching this video, it's because your parents told you to watch it because your parents love you, right? And they're invested in your future and they're invested in you now. If you stumbled upon this and you have garbage parents, that sucks. But find someone that you trust. If you stumbled upon this video and you're an influencer's child, this is for you as well. So this is an open letter to Jenny Popach and influencer children who are watching the show. Jenny, you are an amazing young lady. You deserve more than what your mother has done to you. Okay? The power that you have is enormous. You have over 7 million followers on TikTok. Okay? But what you fail to realize, or you do realize and don't realize, is that a lot of those people are men who are coming after you and have parasocial relationships with you. And that should scare you. That is really inappropriate. The things that you do online, although you might think they are innocent, they are not. And your mother is enabling every step of the way. Your mother also has made many videos of you with her, of you driving illegally, her drinking in the vehicle, you guys being unbuckled in seats and everything else. And you know that's wrong. So Jenny, my open letter to you is this. Please, please, please find a mandated reporter and consider emancipating yourself from this family that you live in right now. It is dangerous what your mother is doing and your dad is doing to you. Okay, I know that there's a video that just came out where your mom was like she's going to live with her grandmother because you guys have just had a fight and it sounds like she's drunk. And you got to know that that's, you know, families fight all the time, and I get that. But this seems to be an ongoing thing, and it seems like you're living in this chaotic world that I'm not even sure you're going to school. I'm not even sure you're getting the education that you deserve. Okay? I'm not even sure that your mom's giving you any of the money that you're earning. It is really dangerous. When your mom dropped you off to go see that 19-year-old man, that was wrong, and that's not your fault, Jenny Popach. That's your mom's fault. That's the man's fault. And I hope that you call him out and he ends up in prison. Because that same man is trying to sell your tape. And that could ruin your future. Jenny, you are so much more valuable than dancing erotically on TikTok. You are smart, you're talented, and you have your whole life ahead of you. And if you continue down this path, I'm scared that something really bad is going to happen to you. And it's going to be because your mom allowed it to. So Jenny, I know this sounds really crazy, and I might even get some heat from a lot of my haters for saying this exact phrase again. But you need to find a way out of that situation. And that likely comes from emancipation, which means you're going to have to find a lawyer or someone that you trust that can take care of that. Or find a family member that you can go with, because you need to get out of this toxic wasteland. And I know that you have siblings in that toxic wasteland as well. So if police are approaching you and FBI are approaching you and CPS is approaching you, you need to tell them the truth. Jenny, if you haven't done this yet, please start documenting everything that's been going on. Okay? Because you're not to blame. You cannot be in trouble for the things that have happened to you because you are the victim here. 100%. Nothing that has happened to you or that you have done is your fault. It is your mother's fault. It is your father's fault. It is the people who enable you to do this. It's the other creators that you connect with that are saying yes, queen to you. Okay? You are a victim 100%. So please start journaling the issues so that when it comes time to get help, you will have a documented series of events that will help you. Because again, if you stay in this situation, I'm very scared for you, your future, and your life. And I know that sounds really scary, but that's it. And I think at these moments where your mom is doing these things to you, you kind of feel that. And I never would normally ever say this to anybody, but I know that the FBI has been contacted multiple times and has contacted your parents. I know that CPS has been in your life a bunch of times. I know that your mom does not have good intentions for you. She has bad intentions for you and has shown it time and time again. So Jenny, please remember this if you take anything away from this open letter. You're the victim. It is not your fault. Okay? And that goes for any child that's watching this that's in a family vlog. And you know your parents don't want you watching this. I get that. But I promise you, you're the victim. And no matter what, the internet might make fun of you and some like, look at the Doherty Dozen. Let's do another open letter. Nevaeh from Doherty Dozen. I know you watch my videos. And I know that you're upset with Reddit and people making fun of you and calling you out or whatever. I want to tell you that that's inappropriate and wrong because you're an amazing person as well. You seem like the sweetest girl ever. You're shy, you're reserved, but you live in a home that takes advantage of you and exploits you for views and cash. And even though you might get paid, I don't know. Maybe she's putting all the money away from you. That's great. But you have more power than you know too. You can tell Alicia to stop filming you. And if she doesn't stop filming you, you need to reach out to your worker. You have a lawyer. You have to have a lawyer. There is a lawyer that exists that is your lawyer, not Alicia's and not your mom's. So know the power that you have, Nevaeh. And Deshaun, you can tell this to your brother too. You guys have enormous power. If you don't want to be on these videos, if you don't want to make these crazy TikToks, and even if you don't want to travel, you don't have to. If you don't want to be in the Doherty Dozen household, you don't have to. You have a lot of power, Nevaeh. You're 14 years old. You can make a lot of decisions for yourself. Now, I know that being in the system is probably not for you. And this might sound a little bit weird, but you and your brother are basically internet famous. So if you decided you wanted to get out of this house and find another loving home, I bet you one would open up like that. Because in my opinion, and I could be wrong, Alicia doesn't treat you guys with respect, kindness. She doesn't help you where you need help. All she does is try to buy your love and take advantage of you by exploiting you and your stories online. Do you know that there are stories about about the twin little boys out there that should never be out there, about their parents in prison, about the abuse that they suffered when they were children? She has told your stories on the internet, and you know this. But you can't give informed consent, Nevaeh or Deshawn, for that to happen. You cannot. And even though you might say you like it, maybe you liked it at the beginning, if you don't like it now, you can pull your consent now. Consent is an ongoing process that you could pull at any moment. If you don't feel comfortable being on camera, tell her that. And if she refuses to, or coerces you, or tries to bribe you, or make you feel guilty about doing that, you document it. The date and the time and what she said. That's going to be very important for your future. You have a lot of power here, Nevaeh and Deshawn. So I know you might hate me because I make fun of her, whatever. She's an exploiter. I'm not going to apologize for it. But I need you to understand that you guys are incredibly valuable and amazing, no matter what she says, even if it's at the end of a video or she films it. You guys are amazing. And if you decide you don't like that, you are entitled to that, to have those feelings, and you are entitled to not have your life filmed for the internet. You are allowed to say no. I don't know if Alicia or Josh have ever told you that. I don't know if your worker has ever told you that. I don't know if your lawyer has ever told you that. You are 100% in control of your life. And you can stay there if you love it, and you can tell her not to film you. But again, if she's coercing you, or you're made to feel guilty for not doing it, that is wrong, and she should not be doing that to you. So, I hope this reaches your ears. If you do take one thing away from this, Nevaeh and Deshawn, you're incredible human beings with a really big, bright future ahead of you. Your past doesn't define who you are or who you're going to be. You can do amazing things because I grew up very similar to the way you grew up. And look what I've turned my life into. Because I decided that justice was the way to go. Because I decided that I wasn't going to go down the same path as my mom. Because I decided that my life is more valuable and I can become a contributing member to society and not go the route of my mom. And you guys are amazing. From what I've seen on the camera, you're incredible. And so please make sure you understand your value, because your value is everything. And you have a lot of power. So, okay, does that make sense? I don't know. I don't do videos for kids very often, but I think this is one of the most important videos I've ever done on this channel. And I think if you're watching this and your parents made you watch this, go give them a high five and a big old hug, because they love you. Because they made you watch a fat, ugly, bald guy lecture you about the internet for a little while. But they're doing it because they want you to understand the dangers of social media. Now, you might not be famous, right? But you're still, but you might be on the internet, or you might be thinking about you want to make an account when you turn 13 or whatever. But I need you to know this. You don't need to make an account. You don't need to be on social media. You don't need to be texting your friends every 2 seconds, right? There are a lot of value to going the old way, okay? But if you decide that you do want to be on the internet and your parents are cool with it and everybody's cool with monitoring everything, do me a favor. Never speak to somebody you've never met, ever, on the internet. Never talk to strangers. We grew up with this thing called stranger danger. Someone approaches you on the street, it's stranger danger. You don't talk, you leave. Same thing goes with the internet. If you've never met this person, don't talk to them. And if they continue, or if you have talked to them and you've made that mistake already and you didn't know, tell your parents right away, right? It's not your fault. Your parents shouldn't get mad at you for that. And maybe your parents, if you're listening to this, they get a freebie on that one. How about that? You say, hey, look, if you've been talking to somebody they shouldn't have been or whatever, you've done something wrong, you get a freebie. You tell me right now, we'll solve it all. Freebie high fives. Okay? Sometimes you got to give your kids a freebie, right? It's about the bond. So again, kids, if you've done something you think that you might be in the middle of something, or you've been speaking to somebody or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, I'm getting in so much trouble. I promise you in the end, if you tell your parents, maybe there might be a little bit of flack at the beginning, but in the end, it could save your life. I'm not even kidding, right? Speak to someone you trust. Be really careful on the internet. So one of the things we do on this channel is we take a deep breath. Ready? Let's do it. Those are important to do. If you're feeling stressed or anxiety, take big, deep breaths. 5-fingered counting. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. But it's very important that you know that you're valuable. You're incredible. Your future matters, and your digital footprint is forever. Okay? But what you do now does matter for your future. And understand your value, your worth, okay? And that you have a lot of power over your life. And if you got a parent that doesn't really care about all that stuff, maybe you should show them this video if they haven't seen it, okay? But you are amazing, incredible, and valuable. Don't you ever forget it. And I'll see your parents tomorrow.